Imagine this for a second. You're 18 years old. Just a few months ago, you were playing on dirt fields, in matches where maybe 50 people were watching. Nobody talked about you. Nobody expected anything from you. And now, you're sitting inside the Real Madrid locker room. You can still hear the noise of the stadium outside. Balaídos has just witnessed something unexpected. A kid almost nobody knew has just played. He's been in the elite for 10 years. That happened during a Champions League match against Manchester City. Antonio Rüdiger, one of the most intimidating defenders in world football, slowly walks towards you. He looks you straight in the eyes, puts his hand on your shoulder, and says something you'll never forget. You're going to make history at Real Madrid. But here's the craziest part. Less than 2 years ago, that same kid was a reject, a football academy nomad who had passed through Atlético, Getafe, and Leganés without anyone truly betting on him. In fact, he was just hours away from leaving Spanish football completely. So how the hell did a player like that suddenly become the new obsession at Valdebebas? How did he go from being a complete unknown to becoming the player who might change the future of Real Madrid? Because the story of Thiago Pittarch makes absolutely no sense. And when you discover how it all started, you'll understand why people inside the club are already talking about him as something much bigger than just another young prospect. But to understand why everyone at Real Madrid is suddenly talking about Thiago Pittarch, you first have to understand where he came from. Because the most incredible part of this story is that Madrid had him right in front of them for years and still almost lost him. Thiago was born in Fuenlabrada, on the southern outskirts of Madrid. He didn't grow up surrounded by cameras or famous academies. He grew up playing on rough fields where the ball bounced badly and talent had to fight its way through. From a young age, he showed something different. He had that way of carrying the ball that always made defenders arrive just 1 second too late. But youth football in Madrid is brutal. Every year, hundreds of talented players appear, and only a few survive. That's why his path was never easy. He played for Atlético Madrid, then Getafe, then Leganés, always changing shirts, always trying to convince the next coach that he deserved a chance. In youth football, they even gave him a nickname, the Nomad, a talented kid, but without a permanent home. And there was a moment when his story could have ended before it even began. In 2023, Thiago was just one step away from packing his bags and moving to Portugal. Benfica had shown serious interest. The talks were progressing, and everything suggested his future would be far from Madrid. For many young players, that would have been an incredible opportunity. But just when it seemed like his destiny was already decided, something unexpected happened. Real Madrid showed up at the last second. Not for the first team, not even for Castilla. They brought him in for something much more humble. Juvenile B, basically. Entering Valdebebas through the back door, a place where hundreds of talents pass every year. And most disappear without leaving a trace. And then the moment arrived that changed everything. It wasn't a big signing. It wasn't a carefully planned decision by the club. He wasn't even supposed to be there. It was an accident. Year 2025. At Valdebebas, the Real Madrid first team is preparing for an important week. Xabi Alonso needs a youth player to help complete the training session. It's something normal at the club. Every week, young players are called up to help with small training matches. That day, the chosen player was Manuel Angel, one of the academy's biggest prospects. But right before training, he gets injured. Suddenly, the coaching staff needs someone else. And that's when the name Thiago Pittarch appears. For many players in the first team, he was a complete unknown. He had barely spent time with Juvenile B. Nobody expected anything special. But Arbeloa had already seen him train before, and he decided to give him the chance. A few hours later, Thiago arrives at Valdebebas to train with the first team. And suddenly, he finds himself surrounded by players he had only seen on television until recently. From that training session on, everything started moving too fast. Because at Real Madrid, the academy isn't a place where things happen by accident. Every step is monitored, every player is evaluated, and moving up through the ranks usually takes years. But with Thiago Pittarch, the rules didn't seem to apply. First came the promotion to Juvenile A, Then he started getting more and more important minutes. And within months, coaches at Valdebebas started saying something that isn't heard very often at Real Madrid. This kid plays at a different speed. It wasn't just talent, it was personality. While many academy players feel the pressure of the badge, Thiago played as if he had been there his whole life. He demanded the ball, turned under pressure, broke defensive lines, pressed again as if every single play depended on him. And then came the next step, Castilla. For most young players, that's where reality hits hard. Football becomes faster, more physical, more ruthless. But what nobody expected was what happened next. Because suddenly, in the middle of an injury crisis in the first team, Thiago Pitarch's name appeared on the list again. And this time, it wasn't for training. It was for something much bigger. The Champions League. And fate wanted it to be against a very special opponent, Benfica. The same club that had almost signed him 2 years earlier. That night, the kid who almost left Spain was about to face them wearing the heaviest shirt in world football. And what he did in that match convinced the entire locker room. But what truly started turning heads inside Real Madrid wasn't just his story, it was the way he played. Because if someone expects Thiago Pitarch to simply pass the ball backward, play it safe, and disappear from the game, they're in for a huge surprise. Thiago doesn't play like that. Thiago plays to control the game. From his very first minutes with the first team, something caught the attention of the coaching staff. He didn't wait for the ball to come to him. He went looking for it. He moved constantly, pressed relentlessly, appeared everywhere on the pitch. At Valdebebas, they even started using a curious word to describe him: activator. Press once, lose the ball and press again, and if the opponent manages to escape, he shows up again to win it back. Inside the club, they say he's the player with the fewest moments of disconnection on the pitch. He simply never switches off. And that combination started generating some interesting comparisons inside the locker room. Defensively, he wins the ball back with an aggression that reminds people of Casemiro. But once he recovers it, he spins away with the elegance of Luka Modric, a hunting dog wearing silk gloves. That's why when injuries hit Real Madrid's midfield, the coaching staff made a decision that surprised many people. Instead of looking for solutions outside the club, they looked inside, because maybe, without realizing it, they already had the player they needed. But while Madrid started debating whether Thiago Pitarch should remain a starter, another situation was developing quietly. A situation much bigger than a tactical discussion. His national team. Because Thiago isn't just a Real Madrid prospect. He also has a very unique family background. His roots connect directly to Ceuta and Morocco. And as soon as he started attracting attention in the first team, the federations moved. Morocco made the first move. Their national team project had been growing for years. After their historic World Cup run, they were looking for young talent to secure the future of the team. And Thiago fit perfectly into that plan, a modern midfielder, physical, technical, full of personality. Exactly the type of player they wanted to lead the next generation. The conversation started quietly. Phone calls, contacts, direct interest from people close to the national team. The idea was clear: turn him into one of the key pieces of Morocco's future. But Thiago had something else in mind. Because since he was a child, he had dreamed of wearing the Spanish national team jersey. And when the moment came to make the decision, he didn't hesitate. He chose Spain. His debut with Spain's U20 team came shortly after. And it came in a match filled with symbolism. The opponent was Morocco, a match full of emotion, tension, and expectation. And that's how a story that once seemed impossible has turned into one of the most fascinating rises to come out of Valdebebas in recent years. Because not long ago, Thiago Pitarch was just another kid trying to survive in Madrid's youth football system. A player constantly changing teams, searching for a place to belong. A player who was about to leave the country without almost anyone noticing. Today, that same kid is competing in the midfield of Real Madrid. And not as a simple guest, but as someone who is starting to change the conversations inside the club. And that's why the real question still remains. Are we simply watching the rise of a talented young prospect? Or are we witnessing the birth of the next great leader of Real Madrid? Because if there's one thing that's clear after everything that has happened, it's that Thiago Petarque is no longer just a surprise. He's a story that is only just beginning.